It has been a year since this yurt was installed in Kyiv on January the 14th. The yurt has welcomed more than 100,000 Kyivites and guests of the capital.
That is, a Yurt of Invincibility is not only a hitting point, but also a kind of magnet for good deeds. After we set up yurts in Ukrainian cities, we didn't stop, we kept working. We held many events in our Kyiv yurt.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euro-Atlantic Force, and I'm your host, Myroslava Yaremkin. Representatives of the Kazakh community installed several Yurts of Invincibility last year in Bucha, Kyiv, Kharkiv, Lviv, and other Ukrainian cities. For Kazakhs, yurts are a national symbol. They used to celebrate weddings in yurts, they lived in yurts as nomads, and the fact that Kazakhs today share their home warmth with Ukrainians is extremely important. And it's a sign of attention from their side that they are with us, that they are not with the Russians, and that they wish us victory. With these yurts, the Kazakhs signal the Russians that they are with the Ukrainians. This is a very subtle but powerful signal. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Kazakh Yurts of Invincibility that opened in Ukraine last year, and delve into their achievements over the past year and explore how they have significantly strengthened relations between Ukraine and Kazakhstan. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. Yurts of Invincibility were received in Ukraine with particular warmth, because on the one hand they have a practical meaning, as if the same as the usual Ukrainian point of invincibility, where you can warm up, drink tea, have access to electricity. And on the other hand, by opening the Yurts of Invincibility, the Kazakhs seem to open the door of their home, a shrine for the Kazakh nomad. Also, upon entering the yurt, Ukrainians become guests of the ancient Turkic people, whose centuries-old traditions, customs, and beliefs are connected precisely with the national housing. People's Deputy of Ukraine and head of the Inter-Parliamentary Friendship Group Ukraine-Kazakhstan, Serhiy Nahorniak, will elaborate on the concept of yurts and the accomplishments witnessed within 1 year.
Good afternoon, dear Kyivites and guests of the capital. I'm in the Yurt of Invincibility, which was installed on January the 14th, 2023 in Shevchenko Park, near the Red Building of Shevchenko University. A real Kazakh yurt, which was installed as the Yurt of Invincibility so that Ukrainians, especially Kyivites and guests of the city, could, in the winter of 2023 in January, when there were blackouts in the country, when the enemy attacked Ukrainian critical infrastructure, when we had problems with electricity, people could come here to get warm, to recharge their phones and their gadgets. It has been a year since this yurt was installed in Kyiv on January the 14th. The yurt has welcomed more than 100,000 Kyivites and guests of the capital. At the beginning of its installation, people were treated to Kazakh pilaf and true Kazakh burasak, which is a kind of homemade bread. A lot of Kyivites and guests of the capital passed through the Kyiv yurt, from ambassadors of great powers represented in our country to homeless people who could warm themselves, drink hot tea, coffee, and get some moral support. The Kyiv yurt hasn't closed its doors for a single day during the year, neither in the summer nor in the winter. In the summer of 2023, it already worked as a cultural center of Ukrainian Kazakh relations. As it turned out, a lot of people who were born in Kazakhstan, who have common roots, or some common family ties, come to our Kyiv yurt. They are happy that there is such a place in Kyiv. They leave feedback in the guest book. We have a beautiful book here. Here it is in front of me right now, where people leave their feedback thanking the Kazakh people for this initiative. Let me remind you that the first Yurt of Invincibility was installed on January the 6th, 2023 in Bucha. We all know very well how much grief the Russians have brought to the citizens and residents of Bucha. We understand the people of Bucha especially needed the support after the deoccupation. So the first Yurt of Invincibility was installed in Bucha. Then a Yurt of Invincibility was installed in Kyiv. After Kyiv, a Yurt of Invincibility was installed in Kharkiv, residents in Kharkiv on Unity Day, January the 22nd. Then came Dnipro, Odessa, Lviv, Mykolaiv, and in summer we relocated our yurt from Bucha to Slovyansk, the Donetsk region. Today, our soldiers can come there, drink hot coffee, tea, and rest for a minute or two, or 5 or an hour, and relax mentally and physically.
When entering the Yurt of Invincibility, we must remember that we are entering the home of the Kazakhs, the ancient home of their ancestors, which is sacred. The Kazakh people, like us, experienced famine, repression, and terror. The Yurt was their place of strength during the most difficult periods of history. The backing of our Central Asian allies is one of the factors contributing to Ukrainian invincibility. Right now, Ukrainians see who is truly a friend of our nation, and with whom, after our victory, we will develop relations even more intensively. Kazakhstan is definitely one of them. More on that, please welcome a volunteer of the Kyiv Yurt of Invincibility, Serhiy Melnyk.
The mission of the Yurts of Invincibility project was to support Ukrainians during the blackout period. We provided people with the possibility to charge their gadgets. Each yurt is equipped with a generator. We warmed people, treated them to Kazakh tea, coffee, and our national cuisine. In addition to Kazakh businessmen, ordinary volunteers, ordinary people from the city of Aktobe and the city of Astana help us. They collect humanitarian aid, raise funds, and send all this to us, the volunteers of the Yurts of Invincibility. The Yurts of Invincibility project hit the headlines, and of course they learned about us in Kazakhstan. And many Kazakh philanthropists and businessmen have helped and continue to help the Ukrainian people. They help Ukraine through the provision of industrial generators, the construction and reconstruction of hospitals that were destroyed during the war. That is, a Yurt of Invincibility is not only a hitting point, but also a kind of magnet for good deeds. Now the mission of the Yurts of Invincibility project is charity. During the summer of 2023, we organized fairs, and with all the proceeds we helped Kherson residents, including the Kherson region and the village of Inhulets. And just before the New Year, our volunteers presented children with New Year's gifts. The Yurt of Invincibility has become a second home for me. During the period of the project existence, I have improved my knowledge of the history of Kazakhstan. I have made the best friends in the world, and I have understood my mission in this country during the war. What do I remember most? I am a volunteer of the Kyiv Yurt of Invincibility. I will never forget the very beginning, when our hands were freezing, when we were building walls and we had to tie the ropes because our yurt is set up without a single nail. And I will not forget 5 hours of work in the field kitchen, when we rolled paste for our national dish, baursak. And the most important thing is that, of course, we will never forget the words of gratitude, that look of Ukrainians who come up to us and say, "We are grateful to you for your support."
Last year, the Yurts of Invincibility hosted the celebration of the Turkic holiday Nowruz, organized by the Kazakh diaspora and Yurt volunteers. This holiday is holy for Turkic nations like Easter for Ukrainians. It's always about renewal, hope, and faith. In that way, Kazakh people shared their traditions with Ukrainians and created a common celebration to unite people amidst war. Volunteer of the charitable foundation Yurt of Invincibility, Rovna, will discuss the various events hosted by the Yurts of Invincibility throughout the past year.
In each yurt, we had a lot of volunteers who helped, warmed people, and welcomed people in our Kazakh yurt. Not only Kazakhs, but also Ukrainians. We united in the fight against the enemy in our yurts. Ukrainians, Kazakhs, Tatars, Kyrgyz, Uzbeks. Many people took part in our project. Our mission was to unite peoples in the fight against ruscism, against the occupier. After we set up yurts in Ukrainian cities, we didn't stop, we kept working. We held many events in our Kyiv yurt, not only in the Kyiv yurt, but in all our yurts. However, as we are in Kyiv, of course, we held more events in the Kyiv yurt. The Kyiv yurt is the largest of those we set up, probably the closest to us, because we live here. We often visit the Kyiv yurt. Although I cannot say the Kyiv yurt has any priority for me. No, I love all the yurts. We keep in touch with volunteers in all the yurts. We just do more activities in the Kyiv yurt. We arranged activities for children. We held Nowruz in the Kyiv yurt. We gather a lot of people in the Kyiv yurt. We hold fairs. We congratulate children. Recently, we congratulated children in a Kyiv yurt with New Year, with Christmas, and gave them presents. I am grateful to the organizers, the initiators of the project, Daulet Nurjanov and Serhiy Nahorniak, for giving us the opportunity. Their initiative gave us the opportunity to express our love, our friendship, the friendship of the Kazakh people with the Ukrainian people. Thanks to this project, we unite people in our yurts, we introduce people to the culture of the Kazakh people, and show that our peoples are united, and we are close to each other.
You've been watching a special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!